Hello and welcome to my Tempest Rising Dynasty Insane episode 8. As you could just see from the mini-map, all of a sudden there is yellow. What could that mean? Maybe our leaders will tell us more. Well, okay then, but you're not really sitting in a chair, but rather standing. That's actually rather smart if you think about it, that because there's so much tempest, there's less radiation, and because there's less radiation, you can live there. Because, yeah, also your monitor also creates radiation. But, here's the funny thing, the radiation from the nukes are gamma waves, whereas from your TV are alpha or beta waves. And the thing that's important to then remember is that alpha and beta waves barely go through anything, as to where gamma can go all the way through your cells and then basically hit the important parts in your cells, which can go and create diseases such as cancer. But that's not what we're here for. Yeah, but I wouldn't really say that he's more alive than I expected him, but that's also because I never knew what happened to him. But he definitely doesn't seem senile or crazy, just incapable of moving his body or using many of its functions. But for the rest in his brain, he seems very, very clear. And he sees things and knows things which we are about to discover. That's very funny that Alex does that, even due to it was the Dynasty that did it. And it's also fun that they talk about those messages, yet we've never really seen them on screens. We've never really seen them sort of like on TV or with GDS cities or anything. It really feels like that's something I would have loved to see with the game itself, you know? To go and give a bit more context to it, or to be like, oh yeah, those speeches. But nah, none of that. But that's something which we're building, and you don't necessarily show everything in a game of that. That's also more for the lore aspect. Those that really hunt for the extra things, or the things in books and other stories and things. Wow. Wait, why is there one piece all of a sudden on the map that isn't blue? Like, there's one small area where it's not blue. It was gray. Well, let's go and pick the doctrinates. Vehicle landmines slash turrets. I think it's mainly mines, so. And, well, I don't really think it matters anymore what we take. I already have everything that's important right now. Yeah, I will just keep running with everything that I already have, or... No, I will be taking this, and also because this mission does not have any use for the trebuchet, because we cannot build it again. Ha ha ha. This mission is really fun. Well, let's just go with this, and then next time we could just go and take the trebuchet with us. Oh. It is kind of interesting, but I do find it somewhat sad that the briefing doesn't really tell us anything that's really happening, other than the tempest is really going fast. The map does tell us, and here this extra briefing transcript also tells that. But yeah, let us go and deploy to the mission. And also, I do think that the GDF is actually talking about the mission in the city, that maybe they've sent a different commander to go and steal this stack. But yeah, let us deploy. This is the exact same as in the GDF campaign, so. I took down a plane with a machine gun. Wow. So, as you can see, this thing is absolutely devastating. And it's very, very scary. Wow. I think they actually fixed it by lowering HP so that it actually could be killed by that. Because before it didn't even die because of that, which is rather funny. Also, we can go and sit up here and use a deployment zone in order to go and get some experience, I think. Yeah, a tiny bit of experience. But yeah, next to that, I haven't been playing Tempest Rising for a bit, so there are a bit of things. But I have been playing other strategy games, such as, for instance, Siberian Sun and Rattler Remaster, trying to go and get the achievements from those games. Or, well, Siberian Sun doesn't have any achievements. Yeah, I've been playing those games, and this is one of the missions where I would personally say that made me go like, I'm better off playing the GDF campaign first, because the introduction to the Veti is a lot better. Here it feels rather unconnected in my eyes. So we're going to go and get some troops here by aircraft. Oh, really? I couldn't notice with the tempest bubbles on their back, you know? But yeah, it is somewhat funny as well that somehow we're going to go and get the physicist directly at the start of the mission. But then the rest of the army that we have, we're only going to go and get now? Which kind of like, huh? But, oh well. It doesn't matter too much, it's just a small observation. That's the commando who's completely stealth. So she's always safe. Also, this is more so for the future rather than for the current things that we're doing. What I'm doing right now with the commando. So, by going here, you activate this small wave automatically. And this wave will then basically not appear in the future. So, rather than having to go and deal with opponents attacking here, you actually won't have to deal with it. Same with this wave. So, this is why you would quickly want to go and take the commando and go here. So you can go and have, well, that done. More money. Money is mine. Now! Good job, porcupines! Let's just go and place this down to go and make sure that we don't lose our physicist or commando. Even though it's a bit of a waste. But it's better than having losses which we can't account for. Also, if you decide to approach from this side rather than where I came from with your actual army, you're going to go and have a bit easier time. You're going to go and be capable of allowing, well, GDF to take care of everything here. Oh boy. Going to go and drop bombs on me. Hooray! They drop bombs on me. Well, luckily the only unit that got wounded is, well, the technician, who's still alive, so. But yeah, basically the bombs they throw is, I think, already enough to take care of more of the Betty army. Also, if you don't really want to care, you don't have to. You can just literally send the commando here and be done. I do find it kind of funny how that voice line went, but now I feel like I'm hearing it for the first time a bit different, where it's, oh, they're also moving toward Dynasty HQ at the same time, so we are also best preparing. Right now, they're in GDF territory. In the future, they're actually going to go and be in Dynasty territory. So that's kind of what I guess the voice line now means. It means to go and say, hey, in the future, we're going to go and become the target. Yeah, that's a problem for a bit later. Right now, that's not our problem. Ready for battle indeed. So, again, kind of just like last time, even though this one is, I would personally say, a bit less important because of the way that it works. You want to go and just take the commando, go over to this bridge, avoid the bombing run that is going to go miss you anyway. And then you want to go and walk down here For one very, very good reason. And that is to spawn a bunch of enemies. Also, we don't have to worry about our vehicles all of a sudden running us over because they're hovering. And because they're hovering, they cannot crush infantry. And because they cannot crush infantry, that's good enough for us. Also, I feel like they've upgraded the graphics of this game even further by changing lighting and other aspects of the game. Also, look at that. Even more units for the opponent. And wait, does the enemy... Does GDF literally dare have trebuchets? Yes, I like gun. Now move gun to kill enemy. Engaging target. I was so busy with trying to go and get, well, some other units in position and out of position that I didn't really focus fire. Now, we could just go and have the commando move on in and look what's going on. I do think there might... I do think there's kind of something weird going on with the amount of experience maybe the boar tank needs in a campaign. But I couldn't put my finger on it if I wanted to exactly. It might just be because I have reliable systems on, and because of reliable systems, the game thinks that they're already veterans because they have the cannon defense. Wait, what? They have 35 cannon or... You aren't even veteran! Wow. Now, we want to go and send the physicist here and just put her in this position so that she can scan. And, well, this is our very opponent money source. Not that it really matters because, well, the opponent doesn't really care about money on this mission. They just spawn cheat units constantly when they're going to attack you, so money isn't really necessary for them. Also, yes, you can just keep on using the commando to go and scout forward and basically see things like that. There is normally a haywire turret here, but I think based on the difficulty you play, the Veri will actually be capable of taking care of it. There are some, well, points in the mission where before just GDF 1 and some points Veri 1 based on the difficulty. But it doesn't really matter which faction wins. The reason why what faction wins doesn't really matter to us is we're just gonna go and have to crush the winner anyway, so... So, you can also now, if you want to, actually, rather than entering from here and, well, finding some people there, you can also go and enter from the back by going here. Yes, there's actually a lower route in here. So that's also something useful if you want to go and use that instead. But I want to, well, at the very least complete the bonus objective. And maybe do even more. Because this may be a commando mission right now. But it's not going to be a commando mission. No. It's just going to be a build mission. But it's very funny that with the dynasty, no build missions. From the 3 that there are, twice you're just gonna go and use GDF. To go and crush basically a big ass base, so... If that's kind of your cup of cake, Well, that's what you're going to get. Now, would you look at that? Somehow they spawned back. Well, it doesn't matter. The physicist, her little wavy thing, is very powerful and useful. It just has very limited range. Oh, look, a haywire. Ow. I was thinking the physicist might have decided to go and fire before that happened, but I guess not. Also, GDF has a nice amount of forces there, but I don't even think it matters. These things do have stealth detection, though, so look out for those when you're using your commando to go and scout. But for the rest, you're pretty much home free with the commando. There's very few structures and units and things in this game that actually detect stealth, so... Yes, indeed, there is very few units that actually go and detect stealth. So, you're pretty much free to do what you want with the commando. Oh boy, that's where the fatty was. They were just hiding. Yeah, I more or less saw the physicist orb coming, so I was like, those things are probably dead. Yeah, you can mainly clear a lot of this mission with just this group of units. You don't even need to steal the base. Who knows? We have yet to play the Veti campaign. But they could just be humans that have, well, tempest over them. So yeah, from here, the opponent can't really do anything to us because we have high ground invisibility, and that makes us capable of kicking their small butts very hardly. So yeah, we can just keep on going here. Also, in case you don't know yet, we have a technician. Do you know what that means? That means we could go and steal a structure. Yes, I know. This is, for some people, it's actually very obvious, but not to everybody, okay? Now, please don't be needlessly mean to everybody. But because we can go and steal opponent technology, and we can go and build more, why would we not? Great, I'm really not paying attention to what is happening, and I really should have had my physicist more in the fight. I was somehow thinking that what I had was good enough. That was foolish of me. Well, we took at least one loss, so losses are on the menu. Wait, since when the hell are you guys here? When the hell is Gremlins part of the enemy army? I don't mean literally, I mean more sort of figuratively speaking that... The last time I played this mission, I don't really remember the enemy having scramblers. Also, now we have power. And because we have this, we already have a tech too. Woohoo, powers. Kind of funny that we don't really get to see how much experience a unit needs, which is something I personally would like to. I don't know about everybody else, but I personally like to see how much experience we need to go and do certain things. Well, the experience in this game is mainly based around, well, the idea of Command and Conquer 3, I would say, so. Oh, great. We found the other one. Of course we found the other one. Well, I guess. Ready. I don't know if we can actually steal the opponent's money. Yeah, this is a point in the mission. We have to go later anyway, so now we're just going here a bit earlier. Actually, and this is the funny thing, there is now less enemies than there will be in the future. And now there's even less enemies. Also, yes, you can use this route to just sneak in. So, as you can see, there are some new units here for us. Which are voltaic tanks. Which are the units we want to steal back, actually. And guess what? There's an entire base here. Da da da. So, yeah. We're just gonna go and steal part of the enemy base here. And this is kind of the way I like it. Or like to do it nowadays. Also, this is one of the reasons, again, why you don't want a trebuchet, sadly enough, on this mission equipped. Because you can't build it. I do hope that they kind of fix/change that. So you aren't punished for that. For, well, actually wanting to have those units. And now we have money. Now let's just go and build 4 in total, you know? Now, here's also another sad part. And the sad part is that even if we steal enemy tech, we actually won't get it. Which I think is somewhat sad, but eh. Also, we're probably better off trying to go and crush a bit of the enemies here. And this is the reason why we're probably better off trying to crush the enemies here. So, we're gonna go and keep on building some more troops because we can. Not necessarily because we need them or anything, but because we can. Also, the opponent will somehow decide to go and say, oh, it's very fun to just build a massive base here and build actually extra structures for some reason. I don't really know why the AI has lost control over their base here, but apparently they did. Yeah, we're just going to go and mine a bit more. Yeah, we also can't see the progress bar when it's building units. Oh, because we're dirt poor. I guess, yeah, with 4 production structures and things going on, this was going to go and happen. So we're just going to go and steal the data center because it's fun. And as you see, we don't really unlock any new tech, so I'm just going to go and sell it back so I get more money. Because it should be worth more money to go and sell and capture than it is to keep. And, well, then we're just going to go and do it again. But yeah, you can also go and have all of your forces try to go and beat the enemies here. And basically get more money that way. Oh, it's actually going to go and give me low power, because you could see that it cost 50 and I don't have 50. Well, not that it really matters, because we're just stealing it to go and sell it. Also, we can somehow build it, but we won't really need it. Also, every time we steal it, we also go and get intel, so that's also pretty nice. And this is more a strategy I would personally advise players using during a game such as Tiberian Sun, where capturing your opponent's command centers and things is just a bit easier. Also, if you look very quickly, you could see a landmine here. That's because, well, there we lost the boar tank, so. Also, this area is going to go and be swarming with enemy vehicles and things, so. Array and aircraft. We might as well go and prepare a bit here. Just a tiny bit, I mean. While this is all going on, we can actually go and bust on. We're now going to go to the other location. Hooray! Sadly enough, my hunter tanks are not going to go and have their... Oh, if it's marked, it deals even... The enemy loses defensive stats powers, so... Also, we only have 1 salvage van, so sadly enough, heals are going to go and be rather low. But we do have the great power of the porcupine to arrange the enemy defenses. And we're just going to go and give them a stop command, so... Ow. Also, Riot Medic. That guy's kind of a pain. Kind of. Because he doesn't really stand a chance against the commando who can just two-pop him, so... Well, it's good, because it's going to be your new home for the... coming time? Forever? I don't know. Eh. I just don't want the enemy to go and get close to anything here, so... Sounds good. We may actually want to go and build an extra refinery here. Yeah, let's just go for 2 already. Oh yeah, that one we crushed, so... Oh no, the enemy is losing troops and things. Well. You could also capture this refinery here and this refinery here if you really feel like it, but I don't feel like it this time, so... Also, oh no, this bridge cannot be repaired and it doesn't have any use either, so... Yeah, if you were thinking that, oh my god, the attacks on this mission are so hard, difficult, or whatever for some reason, well, don't worry. We've actually partially taken care of them. Because the attacks on this mission aren't actually that bad, so... But one of the things that we do want, which we don't have to worry about too much, luckily, is going to be the transports that I'm building right now. The dynasty will not abandon civilians. No, we will just lose them during wars. That is what we're going to go and do, so... Also, it's kind of dumb for me to go and bring this entire army here, but still. Just stand still, so you can go and heal your nice friendies. Yeah, so... Now, we just have to go and move our troops a bit here, and guess what? This base is ours. Well, these are the 6 tanks that, well, if you're complete the previous objective will appear, and normally they will also go and be guarding here, but in reality you would go and have, normally speaking, the entire base and have been building your army and then basically get here. So, alright. It wouldn't even be that bad. So, Vedi troops. Let's go and talk about them for a bit as well. The Vedi are now constantly going to go and spawn. They're going to go and attack and spawn once, I think, from here. And for the rest, they're only going to go and spawn from down there. Which is everything they're going to go and do. You're going to go and get a few dynasty troops as reinforcements. And apparently we need to go and build a harvester here. One of the reinforcements we get is a porcupine. And then some havocs and things. So, but yeah, for the rest, the enemy is constantly going to go and attack there. We don't have too much to worry about. I think if we go down here as well, we will find... Yeah, we will find some enemies that spawn. So if you're going to go and attack from this side, you also go and notice that the enemy is going to go and spawn here. So Please be careful if, well, you care about losses and things. Hmm. Oh, I didn't lose one. I just didn't build enough. So, now that we've stolen this location, we can do one of two things. Either we can go and play the mission as it normally now intends and try to go and steal the rest of this base. And basically steal that and escape with the tempest. Well, the voltaic tanks. Or we can go pick a fight with the Veti and basically wipe them all out. I believe, yeah, that attack just now already convinced me the Veti needs to die. Yeah, that isn't very smart of me. Building all of that with one command center when I have two. It's somewhat sad that it doesn't do that automatically, but at the same time, it's, I guess, a skill issue that if you don't do it. So I can't really blame the game for, well, my own inexperience / laziness with learning and thinking. So you are going to go and be the game-winning engineer. As we will now go and see if, well, we can actually bust through this massive base here. Now, we don't have to worry too much, because a lot of the power the enemy has here is kind of a joke, so we're actually kind of on a similar tech level, I would say, so it's just that we have a way bigger army than they do. So as long as we keep on, well, just constantly retreating a bit, caring about our units, we should be fine for the most part. Well, I do say that, yet the enemy has golems and we don't, but we do have our specialists, so... Oh no, they took out a riot van because it was too far forward. Oh, and a pillager, apparently, because else we wouldn't have an incinerator. Oh, look, the ages. Ah, great, we are silenced yet again. I guess we do lack in the anti-infantry department a bit. Or at least with effective answers that are very powerful, because, hooray. We could have built more field scouts, but... yeah, field scouts aren't that much better, I think, than dynasty cards anyway. Also, those stupid guys. Those very melee guys. I wonder how actually they're going to go and work when the Veti campaign is around. Also, the thing we just killed is a stealth generator. The little eyeball. It's nothing more than a stealth generator. So yeah, the Veti has a specific structure to detect stealth. Well, the GDF and the Dynasty has defenses that do it. But the Dynasty version, at the very least, also has extra things to it. It also builds up tempest shards. And, well, what we're killing that is shocking us are the power plants. They deal damage to units when they're damaged, so... But I think they've put a limit on it or something in order to go make it just a bit more fair. So yeah, what we just killed was the enemy war factory, because more than enough vehicles came out. I think that this is the command center that we just killed. And somehow we decided that it's best to leave the infantry, the air for last. So, and then this is, well, more of their money gone. A barracks. Because apparently they have 2 barracks, from what I can tell. I don't really know how it works fully yet. I've yet to play with the Veti. And this thing here is a advancement. It's kind of like a tech structure. It's like the data core slash the specialist bureau. Also, if you want to, you can sit up here with your porcupines and pretty much blast most of this already. And you can also load your porcupines into the, not hammerheads, the sky cranes, and then move them around everywhere you want them to. And basically have an easier time with that, so. And well, now they're dead anyway. Also, what you can do here is you can go and build a comms ray if you want to, have your units be more defensive, and basically use that as well. Also, I wanted to go and wipe all the Veti off the map for now, so let's go and do that. Oh, this is a temporary field. This is also a temporary field. That as well. This is the only permanent field here. Yeah, all the other ones were temporary fields, so basically they only had the automatic regrowth. Damn, I never knew that. Not that it really matters, but... Hello, enemies! I really like how, sort of like, the moment the Hunter tanks have the enemy in range, they're just gone. And, well, then we have the barracks, which could also, whatchamacallit, be attacked a bit. And I don't know if they changed it by just lowering the enemy's HP. But in the past, the enemy would actually allow the War Ender to still have health. Nowadays, I think it's changed so that it does die, actually. So. Now, why do I have these sky cranes? So, the reason I have the sky cranes here is because I want to go and be capable of saying, well, I don't care about what this mission wants me to. I'm just going to go and take my voltaic tanks, put them in the sky cranes, and just carry them away. Because that is a tactic you can do. And if it's your first time, if you don't really trust yourself, I would advise you do it. But for the rest, we're just waiting for the army to go and get here. And once the army is completely here, it is time to go into evacuation mode. And, well, get out. And go out fighting, I guess. Also, something cool about the multiplayer, again, which they changed, is that this thing is now A, more expensive, and B, it now also has a repair radius. Of course, its normal repairs still work, but you can now just basically use this for a creep to go and heal your troops. Where, well, of course, the other units will go, and the dynasty, of course, has the salvage van for that. But you also go and have the shield maiden for it. It's a GDF player, so. Let's go and get all the infantry that isn't engineered kind of here. So yeah, I'm control clicking the group, one of the units of the group, to go and select the entirety at once. So. Well, there's only 2 of you remaining. Well. So. Yeah, I just created a safety save in terms that this goes really, really bad. I don't think it will. But I'd rather not redo everything or part of everything to, well, basically look a bit cooler. So, yeah, a lot of GDI troops, or GDF troops are going to spawn here. A lot of Vedi troops are going to spawn there. A lot of Vedi's troops are going to spawn there. So, alright. We are basically going to go and be extremely overrun at all points. Also, I have no idea what the countdown timer is for. And honestly speaking, I'm not going to go and ever wait to find out. Because it might just be a, oh, you have lost objective, so... I'm not gonna go, as I said, try to go and find out what it is. Also, because I'm A-moving rather than control-moving, my army decides to go and ignore structures and only fire at units. Which is very useful in this case. Nowhere near, actually. Please. Plus, it's not like you can really go anywhere safe on this mission, which is the worst part about it, I guess. The only way you can really be safe during this mission that I know is by taking your vehicles and putting them into sky cranes. With everything else, nah, doesn't matter. Also, they have yet to crack my original base. Oh, that's actually kind of nasty because units that are pacified don't keep their distance. So I had a bunch of units that were pacified but didn't try to go and stay under attack range and actually got closer. Like, that is actually a very useful tactic then against the porcupine. 2 minutes. So they are destroying this base here. Ooh, sad. Well, that's just how it is. But yeah, this is quite the army, I would have to say. Damn, it's so nice to go and have things such as the riot van just having a effect to go and disable vehicles, or actually infantry. Oh no, my harvester is being a dum-dum. And this is why it doesn't really matter. If you go to here, you also find an extremely big force of troops, so... Do not engage the enemy, they have overwhelming numbers. It doesn't matter, we also have overwhelming numbers. So, this is what you can do, and by having 2 engineers in, it's even easier. But yeah, you could just kind of fly here then, because of this. And then you just drop them here, and you call it a day. Ta-da! And that was, well, the mission. I have to say, as I said before, the GDF has a way better introduction because the VEDI actually talks to you, the VEDI actually tries to go and do something. You try to go and discover what they're doing, and you actually protect your troops, a base from them, and with this it's like, hi, we're VEDI, we just exist, and that's it. I do find that somewhat sad about this. So, let's go and look at how well our troops did. So, we did 177k damage, and our physicists did 11k. At some point, or 11k, they did 45k, and the porcupine did 67k. So you can already see that together they did over 100k damage. And we only lost one porcupine. You can also see that the assault gunner did 30k damage, which is, again, holy hell. If you think about it, that these 4 units have done most of the damage already by themselves. And then we lost the boar tank, and they did 8k damage. We lost the technician, which I think was used to go and capture the structure, so it's not actually a loss. We lost 17 engineers. I have no idea how many structures are captured. I do know that I kept 6, so that's probably correct. The comms rig I left behind like a dum-dum. The riot van, I saw at least I lost 1, so we lost a lot more. We also dealt 10k damage with them, which is very little, sadly enough. The harvesters, we lost 6 harvesters. They also somehow crushed units. Then we also see that the hunter tanks have also done very well. And I just realized that rather than damage dealt, I looked at experience gains at damage dealt. Because the hunter tank also did 60k. And then the sentinel did 4k damage, which was also very nice. The operator did 16k. And, well, then the Havocs also did 16k, which, if you think about it, it's pretty ridiculous, actually, for how short they were in the army. But yeah, if you then think about... And then the voltaic tanks did 6k damage. But if you think about, for instance, the hunter tanks, how much damage that they've dealt, they really are just part of this group in terms of power. They're the second highest damage dealt, which kind of tells me, yeah, they're very good offensive tanks, but not very good defensive. So, what about our structures? Our structures say we built 2 field infirmaries. We lost a setup link. We lost it, I think, there because we sold it, which would be nice to go and see on this graph as well. We lost the barracks down there. Well, we lost 7 advanced power plants. We lost 2 vehicle bays. We lost 2 refineries. All sort of in the big base, which I let run out of power because I didn't have enough anti-air defenses. So we also have that, of course. We sold 3 of them. And, well, our laser turrets did 11k damage, and we built 22. And, oh, the haywire turret. Wait. Oh, of course, the haywire turret when you capture the base of the GDF. So, we don't really get to see a lot for the GDF, and the Veti... Oh, we do actually get to see the Vetis now. Oh, that's nice. So, they lost 23 power plants, and they did 4k damage, which, damn, that's what they have. The Golden Cannon did 1k damage. And they did 4... Oh, that's their little expanding vehicle. And it also killed 2 troops. Well, the Tempest Heart did a lot more. Can we now also see the Veti hostile? Oh, we actually get to go and see what the Veti all did. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. You couldn't do this before, so I'm very happy. The War Ender, they lost 1. It killed 29 units, which is like, eh. And then you think about it, that it did 7k, nearly 8k damage with that. It's kind of like, eh. They lost 500 in license, which is... Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. You do not want to go and do a Deathless run and build these guys. So the Rejuvenator. They trained 8, they lost 8. The Subjugator, they lost 135, but they did do 30k damage. Then we also have the Warren, which they trained 11 of, but they lost 62. Which again, kind of shows that they don't care. Then the Seeker, which they trained 12, and they lost 92 of, but they did do 30k damage on them. And they didn't train any Golems, they lost 7 troops of them, and they did 6k damage. The Aegis, which they lost 2 of, and did nearly a k damage. The Messenger, mainly because it was a building destroyer, because I kept it there. And they lost 4 shepherds, and they destroyed 1 building. I have not really seen the shepherd, actually, but yeah. Kind of cool, actually, the fact that we can also see what the video has. And they actually have their icon here. So we look at the credits, the Veti gained a nice amount of money, and then they kept it. Then probably we got a base, and they spend it all. With their units, they just all of a sudden gain everything, and, well, near the end, they nearly lost everything. Well, our unit graph is kind of like, yeah, we build a bit, we lost a bit, we build a bit, and we kept a bit. And the GDF didn't care, and for structures, GDF just cheated. And then finally, GDF hostiles, they did 30k total. If you think about that, they only did less than a fourth of the than the, well, Veti's damage, and less than 10 of mine. And then in turn, they lost 126 field scouts, 42 sentinels, 17 grenadiers, which only they trained 7 of. 26 drone operators, which they only trained 3 of, 45 tanks, which they only trained 8 of, 2 trebuchets, which we saw actually fight, and then they trained 1 harvester, and they lost 4. And then they also trained 3 scramblers somehow, and they lost 5, and, well, they lost the 6 shield maidens, so, and the riot medic. But yeah, anyway. That was the mission, that was all there was, that was all the statistics. So what am I going to say? Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And I hope to go and see you next time when we go and see how Dynasty HQ is doing.